on today's episode of the Home Guys podcast.
Yeah, I was a teenage alcoholic and drug addict and made my way through junior high school selling dope. And then because I'm adding value.
I got to tell you this. You just said something that I preach this to my whole team. Do the right thing and the money will follow.
I didn't think I deserved to be healthy, happy, and prosperous.
Enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, get ready for this one. Today's guest is going to challenge the way you think about money, success, and what's actually possible in your life. We're excited to be joined by Randy Gage, speaker, Hall of Famer, best-selling author, and known around the world as the entrepreneur whisperer. And his story, it's not your typical business journey. We're talking from a jail cell as a teenager to becoming a multi-millionaire entrepreneur. For over 30 years, Randy has helped people break through the mental programming that holds them back from prosperity. He's the author of 15 and he just said 16 books, translated into more than 25 languages, including Risky is the New Safe, Mad Genius, and Radical Rebirth, and has been featured everywhere from Forbes and Fortune to Fox News and Success Magazine. What makes Randy different is simple. No fluff, no theory, just bold ideas, powerful stories, and real strategies that push you to think bigger and play at a higher level. So we're super excited to have him as a guest, and let's just jump right into it. Thanks, Randy, for being here.
Thanks, Randy.
Guys, thanks for bringing me in. Great to
Randy,
be on with you.
I have to say right now, I don't even know if we're qualified to interview you. I don't even know if we need to start right now. I mean, we're just a little guy for crying out loud. And I really do appreciate that because I'm hoping that that'll help us. But man, thank you so much. Like I told you, I do not look at the prep ahead of time. She sends me an email, but it has all this information on it. But
he doesn't read it.
Randy, my background was a firefighter, and then all of a sudden I fell into flipping houses. But you know what I'm really good at? I'm really good at with people, and that's where for sales and everything. And that's why I like doing these podcasts. You know, I can really think of, and I can mesh with a lot of different people, even though that I always say I was just a firefighter, but yeah, I mean I like to mesh with a lot of people, so which is pretty cool. So again, welcome, Randy.
Yeah, it's great to be on with you guys.
I'm curious about your story. From the intro, it says from a jail cell as a teenager, and now you're writing books and speaking. What was that journey?
What was that journey? Well, that journey was making a lot of poor choices at an early age, right?
But you learned from them, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was a teenage alcoholic and drug addict and made my way through junior high school selling dope, and then
entrepreneur right there.
Say again?
So that was an entrepreneur right there.
I still to this day credit my entrepreneurial success to lessons I learned doing just that.
We got a good friend. I'm not even going to say where he's at because it'll pin it down even more. But he, the same way, he'll tell the story of how he started selling drugs, and then I went legit and started buying houses and selling houses.
Yeah, then he.
Yeah. So I started that way and became an entrepreneur. And today my mission is, how do we make the world more prosperous, right? How do we do that? And I just feel like we don't do that with charity and entitlement programs. We do that by empowering people and lifting them up and raising their prosperity consciousness. So that's whether it's my podcast, my books, my entrepreneurial coaching program, really all of my work today is based on that, with the idea that, hey, if I do that, the money thing takes care of itself anyway, because I'm adding value.
I got to tell you this. You just said something that I preach this to my whole team. Do the right thing and the money will follow. If you always do the right thing, the money will follow.
And empowering people to that's such a great fit. And it's how we try to run our business, is give people the skills, empower them. And then, like you just said, everything else will fall into place.
Sorry, Rainey. I get excited when when I hear somebody else say something that I do, and I don't know where I got it. I don't know where it happens. The stuff just comes to me at different times, and I get super excited. I did that last week too from somebody, and I'm like, when everybody starts believing that, everything changes then, and that's what we need. We need
When
everybody.
everybody starts believing that, everything changes 100%. And that's, as I was telling you before the mics went hot, literally like an hour ago, I got the DM that said, "Hey, your new book is live for pre-order on Amazon." And
Nice.
even though this is my 16th book, but I feel more excited than even my first one because it's a really different take. The title is called Wealth Without Apology.
I'm gonna go buy it right now. Just so
All right, good. I need the money. Buy two. So wealth without apology, which is not how it started out, right? The working concept, as I was outlining it, was I was going to call it the work. It wasn't the title, but the working title was the Prosperity Bible. Like this is going to be the textbook on prosperity. But as I was really getting into the deep work and the chapters and what it takes to manifest prosperity in all areas, health, wellness, relationships, money, all of that, there's so much guilt involved. There's so much programming involved that you've been brainwashed that money is bad and it's spiritual to be poor or it's noble to be poor. Rich people are evil. Every show, every movie, every social media thing. I mean, what's the big movement today? Billionaires shouldn't exist, right? It's like legal. They literally want to, I don't know if they want to kill all the billionaires or they just want to steal all their money. But if we took all of the money from every billionaire on earth and we gave it to the poorest 2% of people on earth, and you came back 12 or 18 months later, the money's going to be right back where it started. Mm-hmm. Because the people who are billionaires, they became billionaires by developing consciousness. They're saying, how do I solve problems? How do I add value, right? And they're made to feel guilty about that, right? And so, like for me, I just found that starting off as in a jail cell where I did, and single mom raising 3 kids by herself, knocking on doors, selling Avon. When I started to be successful, I felt guilty. I didn't know it. It was at a subconscious level, but I kept sabotaging myself. And writing this new book really got that whole process of programming to the surface. And
that's your last book, right?
Yeah, that's the newest one.
I'm definitely going to download that. You 100% said exactly what's happening to me probably right now. I didn't realize it is I don't know what to do with success now because I've lived in chaos my whole life, and my body wakes up in the morning and wants to start more chaos, but there is nothing to start. You know, I got a good marriage. I don't have a drug problem. I don't have a drinking problem. It's like my body for the first time it's got calm and it's not used to that.
It's people. There's so many people in that place, James, where they can't even quantify it because it's all subconscious, subliminal programming. Like for me, I was out there because I get a second chance, right? I get a judge, I get a public defender, I get people who say, hey, let's give this kid another chance. Instead of just institutionalizing him for 30 years or 20 years, give him a chance to redeem himself, right? So in Wisconsin, at that point, if you were got on what they called supervision, which would be probation, and you stayed clean until you were 18, you had a clear record. You could go and apply for a job and say you'd never been convicted of a felony or anything like that. Okay. They expunge your record. So I had this new chance. And so I'm out there getting after it, doing things, launching businesses, and then I would blow it all up. And it's because I didn't think I deserved to be healthy, happy, and prosperous.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I think James kind of
Yeah,
hit a
he
nerve
hit
with
home
that
with
with you. I
me.
know he's been struggling with that. And yeah, when you don't grow up with it, or you don't grow up, in that mindset, then you don't know what to do with it. But I liked what you said, and you kind of touched on a little bit. Most people, when they think prosperity, they think money, but it's actually a lot deeper than that. It's not necessarily just money. Like you said, it was relationships. It can be any aspect of your life.
Yeah, in the book, I scope out 4 quadrants that I
Mhm.
think is what makes up prosperity. And money and material things are actually just part of one quadrant, which is resources.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay. And then
So,
the rest, what are the other four? What are the
Well,
others?
okay, second quadrant is health and wellness.
Okay.
Third quadrant is, call it spiritual harmony,
Okay.
meaning just peace of mind. For some people, it's religious, other people, it's secular, other people, it's spiritual. But I mean, you're comfortable in your own skin, you have clarity, you're happy, you're contributing, you have great relationships, things like that. And then the fourth quadrant, I titled significance, because I think once you really start to make it, you want to make the jump from success to significance. You want
Okay.
to know, like, okay, the world's a little bit better. I altered the trajectory of the universe, even if it's just by a millimeter, because I was alive.
mhm.
Because at some point, you just say, okay, great. I can fly private. I've got 3 homes. I've got all the cars. I
Yeah.
got all the bling bling. What's next? If okay, great, you got a Gulfstream, but if nobody wants to fly with you, what's the point? Okay, great. You're making $33 million this year, but your spouse hates you. What's the
Yeah.
point? You want to know, like, hey, can I be part of something bigger than myself? Can I leave this world better because I was here?
I love
Randy,
that.
how long have you had this philosophy? Because I like to think that, I just turned 51 and I'm becoming more wise as I get older, but I feel like it all of a sudden starts to hit you. You're like, wait a minute. I know that I'm normally, up here all the time. And how do I all of a sudden be down here and not just at a normal level? And you seem like that again, hearing your success in your business, but there had to be a turning point. Was there a certain age you hit where you're like, okay, this is how I have to believe, because if I want to live longer, I can't be up here all the time.
When I was 30, I had my business seized by the IRS and they auctioned it off at the courthouse.
Oh, jeez.
And that left me $55,000 of payroll tax debt.
Mm-hmm.
Can't file bankruptcy. You can't get, it's just the clock is ticking with interest all day, every day. It's cheaper to borrow money from the mob than it is to owe money to the government, right?
That's sad.
Right.
So that was a turning point for me, for sure, because I had done that once before. But like when you're 18 or 19 years old and you sell all your furniture and you're sleeping on the floor, it's kind of romantic, right?
Hmm.
When you're 30,
It's
that
nice.
ain't romantic anymore.
No.
Have the same effect. Hey, I just moved
Yeah,
out of my
so I'm
parents'
30
house. I
years
don't
old.
care. I'm sleeping
Yeah,
on the floor. I'm out of my parents' house.
I literally had to sell everything and was literally sleeping on the floor.
Oh,
No TV,
no.
no sofa, no bed, no end tables, no dining table, nothing. And I just realized, okay, I keep having these business failures. I've had all these health challenges, had 11 negative, dysfunctional, toxic relationships in a row. Is there one person who's always at the scene of the crime? And, when I asked that question, that was a big turning point for me. And then I realized, okay, so I got really into the study of prosperity, the science of prosperity, the magic of thinking big, think and grow rich, Prosperity by Charles Fillmore, The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, and really been on that path ever since. And
now you're doing your own books and doing the kind of the same.
yeah, and I'm just bringing this stuff. Like I like to think that I'm able to take the teachings of Charles Fillmore, who co-founded the Unity Church in like 1920s maybe or something, and Ernest Holmes, who was the Science of Mind Church, probably around the same time frame. Some of the Napoleon Hill, some of that stuff, and say, okay, how does that work in today's world with the toxic sludge of social media, with the brainwashing of TV and movies and all these mind viruses circulating? How can I take these timeless principles of prosperity and show people how to apply them in today's world?
Mm-hmm. No, I love
Yeah.
that. I'll be honest with you. I looked it up, and let me make sure that I put it in here right. I put wealth without
Apology.
apology.
Wealth without apology.
On the audio book. So I just don't know if it's there yet.
No, I haven't even got the contract back from the audio. So is right
I
now.
thought you said it just dropped.
The
It's
pre-order for the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So right now it's just pre-order for the book or the Kindle or the ebook, I guess.
Do you do your own voice when you read your books?
I do, because people love it.
That's awesome.
They really get after me if I don't do it. So it's, it's some work to go in the studio and read the whole book, but yeah. And then when I can do it, I can throw in like bonus content, like, and let me tell you example, what happened this week to demonstrate this point. Right.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always do that in my ebooks, in the audiobooks, but I haven't got, the audiobook isn't even close to ready for this one yet.
No, I'm actually pretty excited. Like I said, to watch that. You got a question?
Well, I was going to say, kind of jumping back to this mindset and kind of connected with what James was saying too. Do you find, or do you think that people are actually more afraid of success than they are of actually failing?
Yeah, I do.
Finding
100%. Not 100%.
Right.
82.462% of the time.
Yeah.
Because remember, I have a coaching program, right? I have 3 levels. I have a beginner, an intermediate, and then people who are just crushing it, right? And across all 3 levels, I'm run into this issue where they are more afraid of success than they are afraid of failure, because they don't recognize that underlying programming that they have.
And they don't know what to do with it, or how to, yeah.
Yeah. Let me share something with
interesting.
Randy, I think it's kind of similar for myself. I was the kind of guy that has a plan and then has a backup plan and then has a backup plan to the backup plan. Okay. And I think I told you I was a firefighter. I had a really great job, everything. And we started this business. Within 6 months, I quit my fire gig. And everybody's like, well, what the hell? I'm like, I got to burn the boats. I have to burn the boats and I have to move forward. Well, again, I've always been pretty successful, but I always thought maybe having a backup plan to a backup plan to having a backup plan actually hurt me, because the second plan is just as good as the first plan, but the first plan is failing and I just hop right off and jump onto the second plan. And we could not do that. We went up to her dad and said, hey, we're starting a flipping business and real estate. And he's like, do you guys even know what the hell you're doing? Nope. But we're gonna
what do you know about real estate? And we're like, nothing, we'll figure it out. And that's like you talked about, like, that was the first time we both just all eggs in one basket. Here we go. And let's see what happens. Cause I always had the, corporate W-2, and he got to run around and kind of his entrepreneur brain could try all the different things. But we always had at least a steady, somebody had the insurance and this was the first time that we both dove into this and took that leap of faith.
We're employable now because of our knowledge and all the stuff that we have. But, our first 2 years, 3 years, boy, if that didn't work out, we were done. But we had to have that mentality of burn the boats. and don't worry about the second plan. So now I don't. It's something I've been teaching our daughter is always have a backup plan. And now sometimes I'm like, am I telling her the right thing?
So here's my take on that.
I don't know.
Here's my take. I don't know either. I know for me, the backup plan doesn't work. I'm roll the dice. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. And I'm not afraid to pivot.
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to make mistakes, right? I literally, maybe 2 hours ago, I was doing the monthly coaching that I do for my alchemy level members, which is the middle level of my coaching program. And one of the things I was telling them that I feel like in this group, we have too many people too focused on the perfect model of success, and we're not taking enough risks, because I don't hear people coming with failures. And I think we need more of that. And they all looked at me like I'm kind of like I'm eating spiders, Yeah. And but I'm like, so I've been a professional speaker since 1991 and written the books. And so I do public seminars, and I've done a few versions of my coaching program and special events. And I probably had 25 seminars that never took off, that I just made up, or a coaching program or a 6-week action step thing or this or that. And I put it up for sale, and the market was like, yeah. And I sold a few, and I just canceled them. And I say, hey, I'm sending your deposit back. It was a program I envisioned doing, but I don't see the market response there, so I'm not going to go ahead with it. And people are afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to do that. It didn't work. And then I have things that I canceled because I feel like I was just ahead of the market. And then 5 years later, I rolled it out, and it was hugely successful. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big believer of, hey, I'm psychologically unemployable, right? If you give me a job, one of us is going to end up dead. And I don't know which one, but I'm going to kill you or you're going to kill me. So we better not do that. I need to be an entrepreneur, right? I'm a burn the boats guy. Like, okay. For years, I mean, my mom used to, every week I would call her, and at some point in the call, she'd say, have you ever given any thought to getting a real job? And, even when I was so wildly successful, I was the most successful person my family had ever seen, right? But to her, it was security is having a paycheck on Friday. How can Randy be secure if there's nobody to guarantee his paycheck every Friday?
Right.
It's just a different mindset. But I don't want to tell people that that's the path for them, because it may not be, right? Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody listens to the Gary V podcast, and they all want to be an entrepreneur now, or they watch Mr. Beast and they want to be an influencer, and they may not have the personality for that. They may be better with a W-2 form and whatever. But find out, experiment. We're at a place in the world today where you really don't have to quit your job. You can start a side gig, see where it goes, and nurture it along, right? And but so for me, I'm kind of the burn the boats guy like you are, but I know
I had to learn that.
Well, not everybody, that's not right for everybody, right? It's for other people, different personality types. They're going to go crazy with the anxiety. I owned a hairstyling salon, one of my businesses.
All right, I'm just going to elephant in the room. It's really weird when a guy that owns a hairstyling business doesn't have any hair.
Okay, so first of all, why would a guy who owns a hairstyling salon need any hair? Okay,
true.
Because I don't need to be a customer. I open it as a business to make money.
Other people need it.
Right.
Yes.
That's the whole point, right? It's not what you want, it's what your customers want, right? But literally in the hairstyling business, you make 60% of your income on Friday and Saturday, right? That's all the women get their hair done for the weekend, and all the little old ladies get their wash and set and all that stuff. So every Friday is payday. And I did the same thing every week. I gave all my employees their paycheck and said, now, you cannot go to the bank and cash this because the money is not there. Go to the liquor store, go to the supermarket, or wait till Monday. I need the sales from today and tomorrow to cover the payroll. That I was in that situation for 6 months, right? That's what real entrepreneurship is.
You're right, because that's rolling the dice. You don't know.
Yeah. And not everybody's gonna do well with that, right? To me, I was okay with it. But for some people, that would make them insane, right? And they should have a job and do the side gig thing and let the side gig thing develop, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you said something in before about failure, and that we as humans, I'm thinking back. We grew up, you didn't want to fail, right? I mean, Gen X boomers. I think we finally started letting the next generation go ahead and fall. It's okay, right? It's starting. That's when it finally started coming out. How do you get that? I mean, again, 51. I'm starting to realize it's okay to fail, because as long as you learn off of your failures, it's okay. It's if you do the same thing, that's the definition of an insanity, right? Because you're expecting something different.
Twitter did not start off as Twitter. Facebook did not start off as Facebook. They were pivots. Uber was a pivot. There were all kind of pivots of huge multi-billion-dollar companies we'd look at, but a lot of them, that's not where they started. They started with Twitter was a blogging platform in essence, and then it turned into social media as what we know it today, and then morphed into X as we know it today. But that was pivots along the way. Mm-hmm. And as long as you're willing to learn and pivot, then what's the problem?
Andy, you're my I don't know. You've already said like 3 or 4 things. Again, that's another word I use all the time is pivot. And I'm really liking that, where you've been in your life and millionaire and whatnot. I mean, I'm thinking, hoping some of these traits are the same for myself.
They're universal. They're universal. Yeah, they
absolutely.
Really are. That's why I'm so excited about the new book, because I think I'm going to introduce a whole new. It's funny, like one of the I have like 6 or 8 people that when I write a book, I ask them, hey, can I send you a draft? You steel man it, check it out, tell me where I'm crazy, tell me what confused you, how it could be better, whatever. And so one of them is my buddy, Bill Backrack. Bill is like the ultimate financial planner guru for financial planners. He shows them how to build their business. He reads chapter 1 and he sends me a thing. Oh my God, we have to get this book in the hands of every high school graduate, every college graduate. It's not too. I'm like, wow. And then he says, I don't even think 12 years old is too young for this.
Oh, wow.
Like, well, Bill, I do drop a few F-bombs. So as long as somebody's, okay with that, he's like, I don't care. They get that. Then he reads chapter 2 and he writes me and says, I'm going to tell my financial planners they have to buy this book in lots of 100 and tell their clients that they won't work with them unless they read this book.
Oh, wow.
Because they got to learn how to win the money game. They have to change their thinking.
Right.
And so, and that's what it's really, that's why I'm so excited about this book, because I just think there's so many people that there's a whole group of banks, financial planners, stock markets, marketers, the banking system. They're all set up a game that you don't know the rules to. They change the rules all the time, and they need to keep you broke and dependent on them. Right? When your credit card company says, hey, you owe $8,000, but just send us $111 minimum payment because we're nice guys, you're nice guys,
for the next 500 years.
It'll be fine.
It's literally, if you want to know the math, it's 40 to 42 years if you pay the minimum balance on a credit card. And they're charging people 30% interest.
Yeah.
29, 30. It's crazy, right? You got to learn it. So you have people like putting money in savings accounts that get 2% interest, and then they're charging money on a credit card that's charging them 30% interest. And they're just getting more upside down every year, right? So we got to get the message out there on here's how to play and win the money game, which is literally one of the chapters in the new book.
No, I really, again, I'm so excited. I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it up there, hopefully with Rich Dad Poor Dad, because because when you said your guy said he wanted to go through the high school, that's my thing that I do is for high school, when you graduate high school, is I'll give you $100, but I give you the book first. And if you don't, I'm going to come back in a month, and for you to get that $100, we have to talk about the book.
Well, I love Kiyosaki's book. It was, when I first read it, it was worthless to me because he's talking about how to put assets to work for you in this quadrant. And I'm like, I just need to know how to pay my frickin' electric bill.
I don't have any assets.
So now I can look back at Robert's book and say, that's a great book. That's very valuable to people. And I think my book is the one they should read before his book.
Oh, okay.
Because then they're going to know how to win the money game. They're going to know how to create residual income. And then Robert can show them how to put that money to work. But at the end of the day, here's the most powerful financial philosophy you can ever learn. You work for money, or your money works for you. Period. Which one is it? Okay. If you work for money, you will always be working for money. You will always be broke. You're never going to apply leverage. If your money is working for you, you will wake up every day for the rest of your life wealthier than you were when you went to sleep the night before.
Right.
Which one is better? That's the name, right? So that's where we got to start. We got to get people and literally 12-year-olds have heard the F-bomb before. Okay. Right. My book is not the first time they're going to hear that. And it's not the last time, but my book will wake them up to the reality of it. Here is how the game is stacked against you. And here's how you can do a little jiu-jitsu and win.
Why aren't our public schools teaching us this? They're not even teaching kids how to do how to operate a check.
I feel like that's a whole nother conversation.
I know, but I mean, because you said this should be read by these 12-year-olds, and our daughter took a class in, I want to say 7th or 8th grade.
It was an elective. Yep.
And she took it. I mean, it was elective for her. And she's like, hey, do you pay insurance? Oh, I didn't know that. Hey, do you pay insurance for the house? Oh, yeah. You learn all this stuff. These kids are getting out of high school right now. They don't know. They can operate my iPhone all day long and figure it out, but they could not have write a checkbook, We actually have a guy that works for us. We kind of still tease him a little bit, but he had to deliver a piece of mail and
someone wanted us to mail them our brochure, and he had
no clue.
He didn't know how to fill out the envelope.
Right. Oh, I believe it.
He came to me and he asked, and he's like, now where does the stamp go? Down here, up here? I'm like, what are you? I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. What are you talking about?
Right. Because people they really don't know. It's like, I was coaching a speaker and working on his keynote speech for him. And he's saying, and so what you got to do when you're waiting in line at the post office or the bank, and I told him, his name's John. I'm like, John, do you understand that anybody under the age of 40 years old has never been in a post office? They don't even know what you're talking about.
No.
Do you realize anybody under 30 years old has never been in a bank? They have a Cash App on their phone, or they have a Venmo, they have a PayPal. They haven't been in a bank like me. I haven't been in a bank in 15 years.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe 20. And that's back when I did like a mortgage through my bank or something. Otherwise, I mean, everything's electronic for me. Everything's on my laptop. Kids
times.
today, I mean, they don't. So it's a double-edged lesson. One, they don't know the money stuff, but yeah, they don't know the real life skills stuff either. And that's where we have to help them.
Yeah. Well, Randy,
I was going to say this is the time that. No, me.
Okay. One of us was going to say, we're kind of creeping up on time here, but yeah, this has been amazing. You just a great conversation. Wealth without apology. It is.
When does that officially come out on audio? Because that
April 28th is the release date.
Okay. So
okay, you can pre-order it now.
Do we want to push this one out a little bit, or I would love to push this out and then push it a little bit closer so he can get some.
No, if you get it out on the next week, like you were talking, that's great. Because my vision is I need to have 15,000 copies pre-ordered by the release date, which is going to create enough buzz, enough in the algorithms at Amazon to get cross-promoted and linked, and then to really do the rebellion that I want to create in the world.
There you go. So everybody, you heard it. Go pre-order.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a must, and I really want to showcase that because I want to read it, and then okay, I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah.
And that way
we'll get copies. We're going to go on and pre-order some copies for maybe even for our team. We'll get everybody a copy of the book.
Hey, 2 minutes. Pitch your coaching. What do you want to do?
Yeah. What does that look like? I was going to ask about that. Like, what does the coaching program look like?
It's like nothing else in the world. It's a mastermind group, coaching program, entrepreneurial accelerator program, all in one. 3 levels. So like for people just like, I can't even pay the rent. I need to know how to get money, that would be the beginning level. The middle level, the alchemy level, is for people who are getting after it. They're entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. They're out there. They're moving up in the corporate world, but they're just kind of stuck. They can't break that $1 million a year barrier for whatever reason. And then the third level is for people who they got money. It's really going on for them. I have people join that program just because they want to get into philanthropy and the significant stuff. I have people at that level who joined because they, their kids couldn't pick them out of a police lineup because, some of them I have to teach them how to take a day off because they haven't had a day off in 27 years, or I have to teach them how to go 2 hours without a phone in their hand. Right. So I have to teach them the holistic part of prosperity, but it's really all about transformation. It's, by the way, you two are like the poster boy and girl for that program. So that's your homework. I'm going to assign you when you get done is go to my website and click the link that says Breakthrough You. That's the name of that program, and check it out. Cause I think it's got your names all over it. But for anybody, it's really for anyone who wants transformation, but I do skew it more to entrepreneurs just because my personal bias is I think it's easier to become wealthy as an entrepreneur than it is as an employee.
Amen.
All right, so that's all at Randy. That's at randygage.com. Hopefully you can put it in the show notes, but randygage.com, you'll see on the homepage, there's a link for Breakthrough You. And then of course, Wealth Without Apology, pre-order now on Amazon.com.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much, Randy. This has been great. And Brady will definitely put the links in there. He's our content guy behind the scenes here. So we'll put all of that information, and thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for bringing me in.
Yeah. Thanks, Randy.